Welcome back, everyone, here to Brax Talks. Today, I got a very special video for you guys. We are going to be talking about the Yankees starting rotation and why the Yankees need to acquire another starting pitcher. Obviously, the Yankees rotation going into the season was one of the best in baseball. We were all super excited for it. It looked really, really solid on paper. But as we are almost 4 days away from opening day, injuries to Carlos Rodon, Frankie Montas, and now Luis Severino put that rotation in jeopardy. Guys like Clark Schmidt, Domingo Herman are sliding in, and we really don't know yet who's going to be the fifth starter. Likely going to be Johnny Brito. Um, but this brings the question: should the Yankees trade for another starting pitcher, sign another starting pitcher perhaps? And we think that the Yankees should. And Christian, what do you think? Do you think the Yankees should?
100%. And look, you don't have to trade for an all-star you don't have to go acquire a Max Scherzer, but you need to get someone because right now, Johnny Brito as your fifth starter to begin the season, that's just not what you want. And that's not to discredit Johnny Brito at all. But you don't want to go into a season like that because there's probably going to be some more injuries in April. Then what happens? The Yankees don't really have any starting pitching depth. They traded JP Sears and Ken Waldichuk to Oakland for Montas, and that depleted a large amount of it. So they're kind of in a tricky situation. And look, I'm not necessarily concerned about the rotation, for down the stretch or even the playoffs this year. Because look, once we get our guys back healthy, it's going to be one of the best in baseball. But you still got to win games, right? In April
Yeah.
and May. So that's where I say, look, go acquire a veteran who's been there, done that, or someone who can give you innings that you can trust because you got to win games in April. And right now, the Yankees have Garrett Cole and Nestor Cortez as really like the only guys we can fully put stock into to begin the season.
Yeah, yeah, especially in the AL East too. It's a very, very competitive division, and the Yankees, they need to win as many games as they possibly can. In games in April and May, they do matter. They can't just sleepwalk through it. And here's the thing: I mean, Domingo Herman and Clark Schmidt, they're pretty solid. I mean, they're definitely good back in the rotation guys, but at the same time we're kind of like uncertain, what we're going to get out of them. They could be really good and they might not be so good. So we're kind of uncertain about that. And then when your fifth starter, who might be Johnny Brito or someone we don't really even know with little to no big league experience, that's not really good, right? So that brings the question: like the Yankees should trade for another starting pitcher. And if another injury happens in the rotation, then you're really screwed. You have like no one, so you're really setting yourself up for disaster if you don't go out and get a starting pitcher. God forbid an injury happens. Going forward down the stretch, I think the Yankees will be fine as long as they get their arms back, and there's no lingering issues or anything like that. The rotation will be really, really good. But I definitely think the Yankees do need to go out and get another starting pitcher just to hold down the fort till the guys get back. He's been there, done that, has that big league experience. And the Yankees definitely have the pieces to bring in someone like that. They have a logjam of infielders. A lot of people think a trade might happen before opening day. So maybe the Yankees go out and they get a starting pitcher before opening day. Like Christian said, not an all-star, but just a guy who can eat innings, and just kind of fill that void for the Yankees that they need in the starting pitching rotation. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Yankees do. But I really think they should just bring in someone to hold down the fort until we get our arms back.
Yeah, and look, I would understand not making a trade if, you know, say they weren't really in a position to, but they have as you mentioned, a logjam in the middle infield, it makes sense. Do a simple swap. I'm not the biggest fan in trading Gleyber Torres because I feel like however that trade, whatever that trade is, it's really not going to turn out for the Yankees because Gleyber Torres is a really good player, and I don't know what return they're really going to get for him. But whether it's an IKF, whether it's a Peraza, whether it's a Torres, Volpe, I'm saying is off limits. Whoever it is, make a trade because you don't really have any starting pitching depth, and you do have a ton of depth uh, at the middle infield positions. So that's where I say just do it because it makes sense in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think the Yankees definitely need to do it just to hold down the fort. One possible name what was mentioned, I think a week or so ago. John Heyman mentioned it was Chris Flexen, and he's pitched for the Seattle Mariners. He's a veteran, and I think or something he might not make the Mariners rotation or break camp. He doesn't have options, so the Mariners would have to trade him. So he mentioned Chris Flexen as a possible trade target for the New York Yankees. So maybe they go out and get him. But I think the Yankees just need to get someone to hold down the fort until they get their arms back. And once they get their arms back, I think we'll be fine. But we just need someone to do a job for right now.